It's easy to say this while crypto is pumping and everybody wants to hear it, but I'm going to say it right now while we're consolidating and even falling here on the daily chart. Do not miss the boat. That's what this gold leading indicator is saying. That's what business cycle data is saying that we're going to talk about in this video. And it's all glued together by our risk models that we have in our intelligence planner and our intelligence system. And in this video, I want to talk about Ethereum on the macro from a cycle standpoint. Why I am sitting here still bullish right now from a cycle perspective. Yes, I want to start the video by just saying on the short term, we're in the middle of a consolidation. We've not even hit a potential target for this Ethereum chart down here at the apex of a macro multi-year triangle. Just be ready for it. This is not a short-term analysis video. This is a macro cycle video. And I really do want to use Ethereum on the macro to kind of discuss and visualize what I'm seeing in crypto right now. So hit the subscribe and like on the way in. Hit the link below if you're not in our intelligence system with our risk model so that you can plan for this cycle, whether it's a bull cycle or a bear cycle, selling and taking profits or accumulation. This is what our exit planner and risk models allow for, and we have a free trial going on right now, so check it out. So I real quick want to start with just gold and business cycle data. And then we're going to talk about Ethereum and really bring it all together. So I just saw this post. Gold runs first. Bitcoin always runs harder. Gold is going crazy right now, as you know. And this is very useful for me because I didn't have to bring up a gold chart, a Bitcoin chart, and start like highlighting everything. They did this here. So in yellow is Bitcoin. In gold is gold. So just look at gold back here between 2016, 2017, just kind of going crazy, right? That was the beginning of, and then it consolidated, by the way. And once it topped out, that was the beginning of Bitcoin's move. It's like gold handing the baton over to Bitcoin, and then Bitcoin goes crazy. And then we fast forward to last cycle. You can see gold here in gold, topping out, and then starting to consolidate. And then what happened? Passing the baton to Bitcoin, Bitcoin goes crazy. Look what's going on right now as Bitcoin has been consolidating. It doesn't look like it, but when you look at the leveling off and these multi-month consolidations that Bitcoin has gone into, not into any type of parabolic bull run, Bitcoin has been consolidating. Well, gold's been going crazy. Is gold about to top out and pass the baton for Bitcoin and crypto? And we're going to get a really nice visualization even from last cycle, what was going on right here on the Ethereum chart, on the Ethereum risk model, because it's pretty crazy how it lines up. Now we bring into play this data, and this is incredibly important. So this is Tech Dev talking about business cycle. He said, never been a 4-year Bitcoin cycle, never been the halving. I think he's saying it's never been these things. Always been the business cycle that previously inflected every 4-ish years right near the halving. How do you know? Because it's also explained every other aspect of Bitcoin's chart. It's a bottom, not a top. So here he has his chart, his business cycle signals, and you can just see we've been kind of in this phase where, guess what? It's been like this tightening in terms of the business cycle. And what he's saying is, get ready for a move, and you can kind of see this like this histogram right here, this move to the upside. That is the move that we've seen leading into bull market swing highs, right? And we just kind of saw this on the gold versus Bitcoin chart. There's that Bitcoin bull market. Here's that Bitcoin bull market last cycle. And here's what we're looking like we're getting ready to go into right now is this bull move. And it has a lot to do with the business cycle, not just 4-year halving theory. Because I really do think when we start studying things like the business cycle and what's going on with all of those macroeconomic pieces of data, the 4-year Bitcoin theory, it's not as valuable at all. So let's visualize this on the Ethereum chart. And the first thing I want to mention on the Ethereum chart is this. And this is outside of everything we're discussing in this video, but this is incredibly important for altcoins. Right now, if you're looking at Ethereum, it's hovering around last cycle's all-time high. Put aside everything we're about to talk about. Do you think, and this is Ethereum ETF inflows and outflows and just all this data, do you think that institutions are pouring into Ethereum and getting ready to pour into and approve all of these altcoin ETFs? Do you think they're doing that and preparing for this? right as Ethereum is just barely testing all-time high from last cycle. And do you think this is the top for Ethereum? It could be. I just don't think it is. With everything we're discussing, as well as what's being unlocked from an institutional standpoint right now for Ethereum and altcoins, and what's being unlocked from just a pro-crypto legislation standpoint, I don't think this is the top. And then you introduce business cycle data, you introduce what's going on with gold. I just don't think it's the top. And I will do videos stating that. I will consistently say I could be wrong about it, but this is just the way that I'm reading the data. And so, yeah, if you go to the, look, even right now in the daily chart on Ethereum, we're falling and the target could go lower. We could fall into the mid 3000s. I've been saying this for weeks now, but that does not change my macro outlook for crypto. And so while we just wait and see what the short term does, right? Let's monitor the zoomed out and let's talk about these things, the gold, the business cycle. I wanted to pull up the risk model because and for Ethereum, by the way, when you're looking at this, right? Here's that gold data. He's actually pointing right here. This looks like a move. I think it was like September or October. And you can see gold was topping out right there. And there's Bitcoin, a little bit of consolidation just getting ready to happen. If you go to the Ethereum chart, I believe it's right here, actually. This looks to be August, September, right? And there's that little pullback right there. But if you look at this, August swing high 2020, and then you go to our Ethereum risk model, you see this August, or here's a September 1st, 2020, but here's August 2020, 40s, and then we're consolidating and falling. Look at the risk model for Ethereum at that moment, right? We're looking at September 2020, 37. And then we're starting to get a little bit of a move to the upside. And by the way, this is all after gold topped. Little bit of a move to the upside. And by the way, just note that this risk score was around 49 at that moment in September 1st, 2020. We're at 52 right now, almost identical. We could see a consolidation on ETH charts. We can see a consolidation on the Ethereum risk model here right now from 52. Maybe we fall back into the 40s. And this could be the setup, especially if gold's about to top. I don't know if it's going to, but this could be the setup for the next swing high for crypto. So you go back to the Ethereum chart, and this is incredibly just synergistic with our charting because check this out. Here's that August to September move, right? Boom. It starts consolidating. Notice where it was consolidating to, that 20-week moving average. Notice what's down here at the apex of this triangle around the mid 3000s, 3600 or so, 20-week moving average. Ethereum is even setting up in this manner where it's looking very nice in terms of comparison wise to last cycle move at this moment around fall of 2020. The only difference is, there's a little bit of a difference in terms of, I guess you could say, liquidity and how money was being printed and coming out of the COVID swing low. But from a business cycle perspective, we're absolutely entering a more bullish business cycle type of environment for crypto right now than we were at the top of the last bull market right here as we entered quantitative tightening and also just like the SEC attacking crypto and all of the other things that we've talked about that went on here, all these crypto companies failing. We're entering a way more bullish environment right now for crypto. So yeah, let's let Ethereum and cryptos do their thing. They're going to consolidate. We've been anticipating this dip that's happening right now, but it's the zoomed out. It's everything happening in terms of gold, in terms of the business cycle, even in terms of just evaluating risk right now for all of these cryptos. And I'm just going to continue just tracking my own crypto journey and putting my opinion out there. That's all this is. It's an opinion. I'm not saying one way or another it's absolutely going to happen, but this is what I think. And I'm trying my best to back it up by data or with data. And we'll see how this all plays out. But this is where my head's at right now with all of the crypto stuff that's going on right now and all the charts and all the volatility. So I wanted to share it with you today as we are dipping, and we'll continue to monitor and see where we find support. Last night's video, we talked about Ethereum and Cardano support, where they might be. You can watch that video if you haven't watched it. But either way, appreciate you watching. Subscribe, turn notifications on, hit that like. And if you're not in our intelligence system with our risk models and we start preparing for a potential move into higher risk scores, a good area to take profit, then get back there, check out a lot of our risk models that we have. We have a ton of altcoins, and start planning your strategy and start unemotionally planning your strategy based off of risk in our exit planner. So I appreciate you. I'll see you in the next video. God bless.